Hey everybody, Dr. Mitch right here Monday through Friday talking how to get healthy, how to be optimally in health. And of course, we talk to guests a couple times a week that can bring us some of the same information. Today, no different. Today I'm bringing a wonderful guest who's an expert in skincare. Her name is Kathy Cobetti-Goff. She is the president of Deva Corporation. She's been doing this for many, many years. As a matter of fact, at the age of 18, she opened her first salon and had 7 people. She also had 4 more salons, including a spa and a school in Paris, France. I didn't even know this about her, and I've known her for several years. She's come up with products, and the products are natural, tested, never on an animal, but have been tested in the literature on people and have found that really they do make a huge difference, especially when they have the latest what we call peptide technology or protein technology. And we're going to talk to her a little bit about that today. Kathy, thank you so much for joining me on the Dr. Mitch Show today. So glad to have you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And we want to talk about skincare. I want to dive right into about it. You know, I want to talk first about all this dead skin cells I was discussing. And, you know, people want a good glow on their face, and they stick these different creams and things on top of their face, but they never clean it up good enough, meaning they never exfoliate the skin. What do you have to say about it?
Well, exfoliating is probably one of the most important things that we can do. And think about it. If you have layers and layers of dead skin, how can a product penetrate through that for you to get the maximum benefit? So it's very, very important to help your cell renewal by removing the cells by exfoliating on a daily basis. And then the serums and creams that you put on to help you look more youthful will be more effective. And your skin will look more refreshed because you don't have all those dead layers on after you exfoliate.
Well, that brings me to a question. Does a man, now I do, because, you know, the argument is, you know, men, we shave, we're exfoliating, but we don't shave our forehead and our noses. So should we be exfoliating like same as the women?
Well, yes, absolutely. It's important. I mean, although men do exfoliate when they shave, like you say, there are other areas. And even if you did, you know, exfoliate in the beard area, it also helps to stop the dead skin cells from clogging the pores, which can sometimes lead to ingrown hairs.
Oh, I've had people tell me, Kathy, that, you know, they don't need to exfoliate and no big deal. But I remember reading a long time ago something like a Scotch tape test. There's 2 of them. One of them happens to be for worms in a baby, but I'm not talking about that one. The Scotch tape test, it went, and I thought it was kind of cool, so it stays with me. And if you're not sure whether you need to exfoliate or not, I understand if you take a piece of tape and put it, I've never done it, but it's probably fun, on the forehead or over your nose or something, and then give it a little rub and pull it off. And if you see a whole bunch of dead skin cells there, you know you haven't exfoliated, you're not doing a good job. Have you ever heard of anything like that before?
Well, absolutely. There actually are actual little strips you can buy to test your skin that do basically the same thing. And you hold that up to a little legend, and you'll see how much, you know, darkness shows, and that is the dead skin. And the tape will do the same thing, so you don't have to go out and buy a kit to show you that you need to exfoliate. And, you know, when you see all that cloudiness on the piece of tape, I mean, just think about that. That is on your skin. So you really want to get rid of that. You want your skin to get air and oxygen, and, you know, you want it to have that youthful glow. And if you have dead skin, there's no way that that's going to happen. So exfoliate, exfoliate, exfoliate. You definitely will see a big difference in just that alone.
Okay, so does it matter, you know, does skin type matter, oily, dry, does skin texture matter, does skin color matter, does any of this matter when it comes to when we're talking about using products and trying to get the skin to look its very best? I know it's a pretty broad question, but see if you can tackle it for me.
Sure, and actually that is a very good question. I mean, there are oily skin, we have dry skin, we have normal skin, we have different ethnicities, we have sensitive skins. So that being said, there are also many different types of scrub. So you have to know what kind of skin you have, and then you need to know how aggressive of an exfoliating product you should use. For example, someone with very sensitive skin wouldn't want to use something very, very harsh on the skin because it would irritate. So they might want to use something made with maybe a natural amber exfoliating scrub or something softer so it won't scratch the skin. Someone with very coarse, very clogged, congested skin might need to use something more along the lines of a manual microdermabrasion scrub, which are little crystals that they'll use to exfoliate. So it really depends on the type of skin. If your skin is not that sensitive, you could exfoliate every day. If it is very sensitive, maybe 2 to 3 times a week. If you have very thin or rosacea, you can exfoliate around different areas. So you really have to analyze your skin, and then you have to pick the product that's right for you.
Let's talk about products for 1 second. By the way, if you're just joining me, this is the Dr. Mitch Show right here on Foxhole 98, talking with Kathy Goff, an expert in skincare, and has her own line of very, very prominent line of skincare products that actually make a difference and can change the way a person really looks. We talk about products. I want you to separate really the products from the products. What I'm saying is, Kathy, can you give us a sort of a guide about, so many of the products, they have these things in them from petroleum-based. They have all sorts of preservatives in them. They have things that get into the bloodstream that I would never recommend in a million years. But then we still want products with the capability to make a change, to make that skin glow, look youthful, if we're working from both ends, which I was talking about earlier, inside and out. So how do we separate sort of the babies from the grown-ups when it comes to this product type of things?
Well, the first thing is to know what you're putting on your skin. So when you pick up a product, look at the back and look at the ingredients. I mean, you should have maybe 5, 6 ingredients on the back of the product. If you see 10, 15, 20 different ingredients listed on there, those things, the more you get toward the bottom, the less of the amount is in there. So you need to have products which have clean chemistry. All of our formulations have the minimal amount of product with the highest concentration, like a clean chemistry, if you will. So you're going to get the result of the active ingredient.
Right.
For example, argireline, you'll use that in its pure form. Hyaluronic acid, those things are on the top of the ingredient list, so you'll know they're going to be stronger.
How do they prove that these things, if we're not doing animal testing, how do we prove that things like argireline, and we'll talk a lot more about that in the future, and hyaluronic acid really make a difference to having a face look the way you want it to look, give it that youthful and keep that youthful look?
The way we base most of our studies are, we do 2 different ways. First, we actually analyze the ingredients, and this is done in a lab setting where we actually analyze what the products do. So we test the actual ingredients. Then we'll go and we'll do a study. We'll have a panel of people that will use the products, and we measure their results. And so we test on ourselves, but we will not use a product unless we have sufficient lab testing of exactly what the ingredient does, what the percentage is, and a lot of this we get from the actual manufacturer of these specific ingredients that have to do this testing.
So basically you have a good idea what is and what isn't safe and so forth by the time it comes from the manufacturer. And they haven't done animal testing either, correct?
No animal testing. I mean, we have pamphlets that we have to read just to make sure that everything is perfect, and then we go ahead.
How long should someone take when you start to use a specific regimen? Now, I use the word, Kathy, regimen, because I think to use one thing, it's unfair. You need to use a good soap. You need to exfoliate. And this is my opinion. If I'm wrong, you're the expert. Just please tell us. And then put some sort of product to create whatever change they're looking for, whether it's spots, whether it's tightening, whether it's this or that. So regardless of what we're doing, what our end goal is, what is appropriate to say at this point in time you should see a difference, and explain why?
Well, I mean, if you're using a regimen, let's say a glycolic-based cleanser, a scrub, and a serum together, as we'll call that a regimen, that's 3 products, you should see results the first time. And the reason why is first you're cleansing the skin, then you're exfoliating. Then when you add your serum, you're hydrating. So your skin is going to look healthier than before you've done anything. Now, that being said, I mean, you need to continue using the regimen, and then in as soon as 2 weeks you could see at least a 15% improvement in skin's texture and tone, depending on the certain ingredients that are in the regimen that you're using. If you're looking for anti-aging, you could see things, as 15% in 2 weeks, as much as 42% in smoothness and texture if you're using, specific products for anti-aging. So you have to decide where it is that you need to be with your skin and continue every day to use this regimen in the morning and in the nighttime, and then you'll see a result.
All right. Let me just skip over to one other thing. Women are very interested in the long eyelashes. Several of the products out there, very expensive, I'm aware of. I know you've been working on a natural product as well, and much less expensive. Does it work? Do the women actually get nice long eyelashes?
It's amazing. Actually, within 2 weeks, you'll see an increase in volume, in lash volume, and in length.
Wow.
And what's interesting is this lash product that we have has peptides, which work inside the hair follicle, and it also has plant stem cell technology, which is amazing. It really, really works. And it's like you said, it's not that expensive. Things don't have to be expensive to work.
Wow. So basically, if I want to summarize what we've talked about this morning, I would summarize it by saying you need a product that has not too many ingredients, but have enough of the true active ingredient that makes a difference, and not one that's a toxin, not animal tested, the highest quality, at least 15 to 22% improvement within a, let's say, 3-week period we should see. And we should make sure that many of the products have the peptides, which are these proteins that can soak into the face. And, of course, if I use a proper regimen, we should see remarkable change, including inside and outside the body. I'm going to let everyone in on the secret. The reason this came up, by the way, Kathy, which you may not be aware. Several people have called, written, and the other day talk about, what they can use for their face. We've had lots of men call and say they've got ingrown hairs. And so the conversation began with you and the reason you're here today. And I want to let everyone know that there are products of her company, many of them, that are now going to be featured on the website and will probably be up as of next week. And we're talking things like apple stem cell serum, which, by the way, you could tell them it was my brainchild that made that particular product.
It was.
Yeah, thank you. And products that can and will make a difference in the way you look. With the holiday season coming, we want to look our best. And, of course, being active just to look good, and in general, we want to keep our face looking well and healthy. And we want to help people out with shaving, and we have products we're going to be talking about in the coming weeks for ingrown hairs. I think they're going to be exciting. I looked at that this morning. Plus, we're going to have, things that can soften and create less wrinkles and help wrinkles not occur, in combination with using things orally as well as topically. They should see a remarkable result. And we're going to put together some neat packages for them, and with your product line, which, by the way, is not found anywhere but in professional places. You can't get this product line anywhere else, and hence the reason. And, we looked through it very heavily, Kathy, to make sure there was nothing that I would concern about that would go into this system that caused problems. I'm excited. I'm very excited about it. And I'm so glad you joined us. Of course, you'll be coming back to tell us. We're going to start featuring things next week. You'll come back and maybe give us a little featurette on how to begin again and where to put ourselves and what products should we be looking at if we want long eyelashes. I want to talk about the serum under the eyes that absolutely have shown 24% reduction in dark circles and puffiness, which, by the way, was a question I had last week, too. Kathy Goff, thank you so much for coming. Lots to hear from you coming up in the next few weeks. And, of course, you'll see this on the website. Thanks for joining us.